Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Rosalia, and I'm on a roll with videos today. I just finished one, but I haven't downloaded it yet. But let me tell you, I've been wanting to put this on YouTube. Really, I wanted to do this because I made this little pad from canvas, but that's not the point. The point is that I made this art journaling pad of techniques. Let me tell you. You go on YouTube. I am who I am with art because the YouTube's out there. My previous video was like a thank you to all the YouTubers, demonstrators out there that I learned so much from them, and thanks again. So there's this young lady that her name is Kayla Givlin. She has this deck of cards of ideas. That you just flip a card and whatever it says, like for instance, use embossing on your page. You do that. So you flip a card, whatever the card says, you do it on your art, which is really great. But my thing was that there's so many techniques out there, and it's hard to remember. You go out there, you get your piece of material that they recommend for that technique. Okay, so you got the starburst, you got the inks, you got the different paints, you got the powders, you got this and that, and I get inspired. So I say, oh, I'm gonna get that. Oh, I'm gonna get this. But you get these things. They accumulate in your craft room. I call my room the neuro room, neurology, because it's all about the brain. It's all about the brain. That's where you get all your creativity from. So in any case. I thought, okay, every time I look at a YouTube video, I'm going to write down, if I like the technique, I'm going to write it down, which is kind of similar to what Kayla Givlin is, because that is a technique, and it's like 52 cards, like a deck of cards. So what I thought of was, I'm not stealing her idea, but there was just so many techniques out there, and I wanted to select the techniques that I like, that I know that I will use. So I thought of doing this art journaling pad of techniques. And what I did was, every time I saw something that I liked, I write it down. Like for instance, the jelly plate, the homemade jelly plate. Well, I got the recipe. So that if anything goes wrong with my jelly plate and I need to redo it, which really you don't, you just break it up and you put it back in the nuke machine, put it back in the refrigerator. It's like forever. But anyway, I have the recipe. Things like embossing paste, DIY embossing paste. I got the recipe for that. I want that. Then there's quotes. There's these quotes. I was watching Tim Holtz on a video. They were interviewing him. It was his day, right? And people were asking him questions, and he was answering them. And he was so inspirational. I mean, he was saying things like, embrace the imperfect. That allows freedom. He says, just explore. He also said, art is creating something out of nothing. I mean, really? So these were his quotes. I just love it. I don't know what the video was called, but look at that. Stay true and follow your imagination. Do whatever you like. If it's beautiful to you, then it's art. So I did that. There were ideas for an art journal. Like, I mean, this numerous. There's like thousands of ideas, and you can't remember them all. So I wrote the ones that I really liked. And like this one here says, cut a circle out of cardstock, fold in half, and then use it on the page by placing it on the edge, making a slide in pocket. You make a pocket. You make a circle. You fold it on the edge here, and now you have a pocket. It's amazing. So if I'm looking around, sometimes I just flip this, like she suggests. You just flip through your cards. So I just flip through this, and let's say, okay, let me see what this says. Well, this is a punch board for bowls. I didn't think I'm going to do that but I flip through it because it's mixed with recipes. It's mixed with things to do, and it's also mixed with the techniques. So here you have draw images on text paper, then cut them out to apply on page. Cover page with newspaper or magazine text as a background. Apply tissue over it. So these things, when I look at a YouTube out there, and I like, oh man, I really would like to do that on my journal. I would like to do it on a canvas or on one of those Canson sketchbooks or whatever, I could look through here and says, oh man, let me see how I'm gonna do my first page. You know, I'm sort of like in a blank, don't know how to start. Well, here we go. I just flip to my little book here and I look at it. It's a creative texture background with drywall tape. Wow, okay, I can do that. And maybe I'll scribble some dimensional paint. Oh man, maybe I can do that too. Sprinkle some salt granules in wet paint. I mean, so my thing is not so much to take away from Kayla Gibbons' deck of cards of techniques, but the fact that the thing is there's so many techniques out there. I'm still writing in my book. I'm still writing. I have more pages here. Just the other day, this is what I got. This is take masking tape and place it any fashion on the page. On your page, you spray or paint over entire page. Then remove the tape and continue with your design. I mean, if I wouldn't have written this, I wouldn't have remembered that technique because my mind will go on to the next YouTube that has another technique and so forth and so forth. So I write them down. They're simple. They're very clear. And then once you're finished with that video, you look at it and say, yeah, I can do that. That really looks good. And then using embossing folders. This technique was just the other day. This is, oh man, oh gosh, I forgot her. You know, I should actually write the artist, the demonstrator's name on this and whatever. But this was using wax paper. Check this out. You select the type of folder that you want, usually a design like leaves or something, you know, something of substance. You take the cardstock of the size of the folder. You cut the wax paper just a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch bigger than the cardstock. So you crinkle and you take it through. And then you crinkle the paper. No, you crinkle the paper first, and then you put it through you sandwich it. Oh, geez, let me just read it out here. Okay, so you select your design type folder, right? And then you cut your cardstock to the size of the folder. All right. Cut the wax paper 1/4 of an inch bigger than the cardstock. Okay. You crinkle the wax paper, then emboss it. Okay, so you take it through your embossing folder. You take that, and you sandwich the wax paper between 2 cardstocks, right? 2 cardstocks. You sandwich your wax paper that's already been embossed. And then you place it in a folder and place inside a folded copy paper. Oh, okay. You take your you sandwich it between the cardstock, and then you iron it. So now you have this wax paper that you sandwiched in between oh geez, I'm so confused already. But that's my point. That's my point. Is that how am I going to remember all those steps? I'm not going to stop I'm not going to stop watching my video, run to my craft room. I can just see myself. It's funny. And start that technique. It may be late. It may be too early. I don't know. I write it down. So my point is, if you write those steps down, this I'm going to do. Because I know that this is something that I will be able to do. It's a good card making technique, or whatever you want to do with it. I'll probably rip it up and put it on my journal book. So I just wanted to holler out and let you know that take a pad. Call it what you want to call it. Mine just says art journaling pad of techniques. And it's not, again, it's not to copy what Kayla Gibbons has created. I think that was a great idea. I just sort of took it a different route to say, if someone is doing a technique that I like, I'm going to write it down. And this is what's out there. So that's why everybody does YouTube, because there's technique. Like, for instance, today, my idea is a technique of techniques, because this here is full of all of those techniques out there, and I just love it. I even took this front page and Mod Podged it. I don't know if you can see the how shiny it is, because after I wrote this, I Mod Podged it, and I just love it. It looks so nice. Doesn't stick to anything. It looks really nice. Let it dry on my non-stick mat. Okay, and this is well, not to go into details, but let me tell you, I love this little book. Sometimes, look at that. Don't believe everything you think. Is that not too funny? I will put that in my journal. So, just to let you know, there are things like recipes. I have recipes in here, different techniques. Look at that. Add ribbons to the paper clips. I mean, I'm not going to remember that. Round edges of tag pages. Use fabric for journal covers. Spray and then paint with spray and mist. I like to do journals. I have a video on journal, okay, that I make myself. I even made some from fabrics. I even made some from this burlap paper cardstock from burlap. I made one. So the purpose of this video is to let those new YouTubers out there make a pad. You can always purchase Kayla's Givens cards. That's excellent, and I recommend it. But make yourself a pad. Have a pad next to you, and when you're doing your video and you like that technique, you want to remember it, you really want to do it, write it down. Come back to it. So I hope this gives the newbies, at least the newbies, okay, and even those who've been around a while may want to just write the techniques that are out there by other artists. So I recommend it. And you can make it out of anything. I made this out of canvas. Make your pad out of anything that turns you. Make a journal. And it's all about techniques. How about that? Thank you for tuning in. I hope this is helpful. I'll have some other videos out there. I'm sort of like new. I'm trying to just have fun with it. My purpose is to share and to have fun. Thank you. Bye.